Okay, let's go. So we're gonna delete the frame buffer thing today. Because while it seemed like a good idea, in practice it does not seem to work too well. So we're gonna go back to doing something a little different. I think the first thing I do, I'm gonna keep the frame buffer around because you can still do like weird post-processing effects on it. But it's not gonna be oversized anymore. So let's go to here. We're not going to scale up the size. So window size is going to remain. Do this, we're still going to do all of this. This is all fine. So frame has to be height scale. We can delete that. And then we're going to try compiling and fixing all the errors, I guess. The line count should just be... I don't know why there's -1 here, to be honest, but it's fine. Oops, same thing. Same thing. Here, we're gonna do this. The size we're storing is just gonna be exactly the same size. Let's just close a window here. The source bottom left is going to be 0. This can just all be zeroed. The cursor row is greater than the size. What's going on here? This looks fine to me. Oops. Keep that. This might like cause some weird, well, it's actually only for placement of this, so probably it's not going to cause any issues. Just always leave the viewport. We don't need this. I guess the post PMAT will still be the same. Yeah, okay. We don't need to change those yet. The post PMAT is not going to change, but we're just going to have the single matrix. Okay, so this is good. No separate viewport. Now this Y offset, I think, is just, I know is just going to get deleted. More Y offset, so we have to open the vertex shader and we're going to delete the Y offset part. And then like technically this matrix doesn't need to be a transformation matrix anymore. It could just be a multiplication by the scale. So actually let's just do that. delete that. And then we need to, oops. Delete that one. And then shrink this one down. I'll have to restart this because it's being... Okay. Yeah, so this is gonna screw up some stuff, but that's okay because the cursor is like getting put off screen, but we'll fix that differently. So take a look here. So technically, like these scan lines should still work, though hot reloading seems broken. I'll have to look in. I still haven't looked into that, obviously. So yeah, I don't know why that happens. So the scan lines are working, moving faster, and they're doing something weirder than I was expecting, but that's okay. I'm not going to leave that open right now, so that's fine. Let's just do that. Let's do this. Oops. Whoa. Did not like me doing that. That's the case, and we'll just do the comments. Fine. Don't know why I didn't like that, but it did me. So, what can you do? Okay, so that is good. I should probably just commit this part so that I'm not modifying too many things at once here. Make sure I'm not doing something stupid, so there's a comment there I should fix. Okay. That's fine. That all looks good to me. Is there 2 spaces there? Okay, so this it's the one call of that. That's good. So this should all be fine for now. And that's fine. I have some stash changes. I'm just going to discard. Drop, I mean. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we need to start allocating another space to just store the processed cells to. So let's open util.h, and we're gonna need a couple things here. So first of all, we're gonna need like a cell. So let me see what's going on here. We've got cursor, we got cell attributes. We don't want this to be the num, we kind of want this to be 32. Yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do that, and then we're gonna say, I just want to be able to like copy this. This state is gonna be changed. I'm gonna change this to yeah, we're gonna do this. Yeah. Then we're going to do another struct here. It's going to be cell. And a cell is going to have a U32 code point and a cell style. This way, a cell is just going to be exactly 16 bytes, which is kind of nice. Because that happens to correspond to the alignment needed for like SIMD stuff. So that's good. Then what we want to do, so we need to allocate like some big space to store these like store all these cells in. And in order for it to be easy to operate on, you kind of want it to be separated into lines. So when you do like a push down operation or stuff like that, you can just like swap some line indices around. So the way a lot of programs do it, like ST, is they'll just allocate. They'll allocate a separate line. They'll allocate lines separately, So they're just like strewn all over the place in memory, and it's kind of crap. But what I was thinking is instead of doing that, I can just allocate the whole block of memory, and then um, store a parallel array of line indices. So like offsets the start of the line. Um, and that seems like the better way. So then at least all that memory is just like right next to each other. Can be a bit better for like cache and stuff. And you can also do like some more efficient clearing operations if you just know that. So let us do that. So let me think. How do I want to do this? Thinking I'm going to make a type called a Framebuffer. Framebuffer. And a Framebuffer is going to contain a few things. I don't know if I want to make these in like substructs or not. Let me think here. So this is like the data. Data is just like an anonymous struct. This could be really want this to be a cell pointer. I think I'm just gonna make it flat. So cell pointer cells. Um, so we're gonna do this separate. So we're gonna have a count, which is the total number of cells that are just currently in the frame buffer, or sorry, I mean that are currently like, I don't know if I need that. We'll see. Basically, I was thinking it should be like the number of cells that you were requested. This alloc size is going to be how much memory was actually allocated to hold this cells array. And then we're going to have there's actually something interesting you could do here. You could do something like this. But then you'd have to dealloc this whole thing. That's a bit annoying. Right. Let me think here. So you basically want there to be exactly the number of line indices that are currently. You could still do the same thing with this count. Yeah, you could still do the same thing with the count. Hmm. Just be verbose here. I don't really want to take like the extra cost for that. Uh, let's just leave it like that. I don't know. I'll think about that later. Maybe I can simplify it after I implement it. So let us now, what we'll do is we're not going to use malloc and stuff for this because I don't like it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into os unix.c and we're going to define let me see here. What did we do? So we had os alloc ring buffer. So I think we're going to do the same. We're going to do os alloc Framebuffer as well. It's going to be slightly different, so we'll do that. Hello, TV Josh. What do you mean by how did I get started with this? Like, I just started from scratch. I just started writing the code. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you mean. So this is going to take a Framebuffer pointer. How do I know what code to write? So like I've read like first of all, I like started implementing a terminal emulator before, and I have a rough idea of how it goes. And I've also read like the source code to like a number of other terminal emulators. Do I use some APIs? I'm mostly just using like operating system specific stuff. So um, there could be, this could also get implemented on Windows potentially. I'm just not sure how to open like a shell on Windows, but other than that, the rest of this can easily be implemented on Windows. This is going to do this. And this is going to take rows and columns, the number of those we just want. Then what we're going to do is we're going to say, it's not showing up on stream. Any good guides on how to write terminal emulators? No, I don't think there is any like guides for how you could just do that. I'm just gonna do it like that. So yeah, I don't think there's any like guides for writing terminal emulators. Exactly. So the reason I haven't got further along is because we were trying to do like a different solution to the problem. I know this other solution's gonna work. It's just I'm not like a big fan of it. Also, hello, RC Arnstern. Yeah, exactly. And like if you're like really unfamiliar with how to like write the code, you can always just read through the source code for like some of the existing terminal emulators. Like, for example, like Suckless Terminal Emulator is mostly pretty easy to read through. There's like some weird stuff where they just use like a global variable for everything and it's kind of annoying, but other than that, it's like pretty readable. So we're going to calculate the size we need. Let's just assert here for now that size of cell is equal to 16. And then we're going to do a calculation here. So FB needed space is going to be rows times calls times size of cell. And then we're going to check. So if Framebuffer, so like if we've already allocated this and we're just resizing, we can like avoid doing an extra, we can avoid doing like an extra allocation by just over allocating this to like a size, like a multiple of the page size. So that's what I'm going to do. So if FB to cell alloc size is greater, or sorry, if FB2, cell alloc size is greater than FB, greater than or equal to FB needed space. Actually, let's do it the other way. If it's less than FB needed space, we are going to do this. We'll just copy this struct definition for now, just so I have it close by. And then what we'll do is we will say, we're going to do this thing again, where we're going to round up to the nearest page size. So let's do this. Let's copy that. I don't really care that much about that being copied. And then we're going to do oops, so we have the page size. This goes in here. I don't know why I didn't just search and replace this, but I didn't, so I remember like if you pass this null, what happens? I'll just handle this specifically. I'll just say that if FB to cells equals does not so if FB to cells, like if it exists already, we will do the m unmap FB to cells, FB to cell alloc size. We're gonna unmap it, and then we're gonna do. This is gonna start becoming a problem if we can't get a new page. I don't know. It's probably fine. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna say FB to cells equals mmap 0 FB needed space we're gonna rewrite this page. We're gonna map anonymous and map private. And we're going to pass -1 as a file descriptor and then 0 for the offset. We're just going to assert here. I need to like handle this properly, but I'll just leave a note. Does not equal map failed. So like theoretically, if this just failed, you could so before you just free this, you could use the old size and just say that you didn't actually resize anything. Oops, what did I just do? Oops. Yeah, so yeah, that would work. That would definitely work. Actually, I'm not gonna fully write that case yet, but I'll just organize this so that it can be done like that. So yeah, let's take this. Cell pointer new. And then we're gonna assert this for now. These go to the right place. If FB to cells, we'll unmap the old one. Then we'll do FB to cells equals new. FB to alloc, to cell alloc size equals FB needed space. And FB to count, to cell count, rows times columns. Yep, that's good. I might not even need this cell count, to be honest. But we'll just keep it for now. We don't need that one. Okay, so that part's good. So we're done with this, and then the next thing we need to do is align indices. So let me see, size, line, lin needed space, I don't know. Sure. This is gonna equal rows times size of yeah, we're gonna do this. Cell pointer. Yeah, exactly. Just like a RAM in CPU RAM buffer of the cells. Um, the reason I'm just thinking of doing that is because it's just like easier for like mostly because when you scroll the terminal, I can't think of a good way of doing that with like the VRAM. I mean, okay, you could make like an SSB. You make like a shared shader. You can make a shader storage buffer, and just do the exact same thing I'm doing here, but just do it in VRAM instead. Um, that is true. You could do that. That's actually an interesting thought because then you could use the you could use either like a compute shader or just like a fragment shader to just draw everything from the shader storage buffer. Hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. This should be this needs to be like a cell bubble pointer. I might just so let's go to line indices here. Be a line pointer to lines. Okay, so if if FB to line alloc size why did I do that? The problem is that so I can't really show it because this isn't working properly right now. Yeah, I need this to be working properly, but when you oh, I see. Oh, sorry, you're referring to someone else. Sorry, my bad. Um, the problem, like, so exactly. So probably your problem is not write a terminal emulator. You probably have something else that you're more interested in. Though I could be wrong. Maybe you are interested in writing a terminal emulator, but um, yeah, usually you need to know like what you're trying to solve. So you want to learn how the terminal emulator works, or you want to know how? It's like I think it was like RC Stern. He like linked like a pretty good page earlier. I still have it open. There was like a page like vt100.net, I think is correct. I mean, this might be just like too much detail, but so there was like this link earlier. I think it was RCRN Steen. I don't know how to pronounce his name. How to pronounce their name. It's okay. It's like an okay link. It'll like explain um a lot of how a terminal emulator works, or how a terminal works, I guess. But then to implement it, there's like still a lot of work you'd have to do. Okay, so what was I typing here? We're typing like basically the exact same thing we just typed up here. We're just gonna type it again. We're gonna do it differently though. It's just slightly differently. I think I can like express this in one step, but that's fine. And round that up to the page size, and we're gonna say if f be to line indices, line alloc size, and we're going to do the same thing here. So this is going to be line Oh, I see. That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't actually know about that, but this is not this one. This is line needed space. And then the line count is just rows. Sure. This is where I'm like really certain I probably don't need these variables, but so we've got this now. So once this is allocated, we need to fill in the line indices array. So I'm just gonna do this. We already did this. Oops. So some of this stuff needs to actually get moved out. Yeah, so these counts need to get moved out. So, and same with this one. So if we didn't need to allocate new space, we're still just going to reuse that. We're just going to resize the amount of space that's being used out of that buffer. But basically, like, these buffers are only ever going to grow. They're never going to shrink, which I think is fine. So, okay, so now we can do this. Let me think. So, yeah, so, okay, so FB to line indices of I is going to be equal to, maybe I shouldn't even call this line indices. I should call this just line, probably just lines directly. So I'm just going to store the pointer. I'm not going to store like the index to the. Yeah, I'm not going to store like an index because that doesn't really make sense, I don't think. So let's do that. Okay, so that's good. Is going to equal FB2. That's going to be equal to FB2 cells plus I times columns times size of cell. I think that is it. So after this loop, this lines array is going to store a pointer to each line in the cells. So like this basically chunks that giant cells array down into lines, which is very similar to what I'm doing with the input data as well. So let's see. That's just the case. Look if this compiles. Oh, I've redefined line. That was dumb. Right. Just gonna call this row. Yeah, so there's two separate things going on. So there's like the characters that you're seeing on screen, and that's what's gonna go into this frame buffer. But the stuff that you're not seeing is there's a ton of like escape codes and other stuff in memory that the terminal is just they get sent to the terminal and the terminal is supposed to interpret. That is not going to be stored in this frame buffer. So it's like everything. It's like how to color the cursor, it's how to move the cursor, it's how to there's like a ton of stuff. Like it like changes to the all screen, like switch whatever mode the terminal's in. Uh yeah, like there's a lot of stuff it does. So it's gonna be row pointer new. This is rows. Let me see here. That looks fine. And then I'll change this to row. I don't like this. I've named some of this already. This is what happens. Okay. This one is cells. This is going to be F beta rows. We're going to unmap that. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. This looks good. This looks good to me. It's good. Okay, so this should be good now. What happened here? Yes, I did mean that. Oops, cells out size. Where's this? Semicolon. Cursor state is now cell style. Cell style. Okay. So that is good. Now we have got all of that going. Compiling anyways. Okay, so here we're going to need to now store a frame buffer in here. which means we're gonna have to restart this in a second. And then when we go in here and we resize, okay, so when we do resize here, how are we calling, when are we calling resize? Right here. Okay, so here we need to it's only here, right? Okay, so here let's go back, take this, make the term pointer. Do that. And then we need to make sure this gets called like at the start, but it needs to get called at the start anyways, so I guess we're gonna find out if this crashes. If this crashes, I'm gonna know why. Um, oops. T to size dot height and T to size dot width. Yeah, passing the wrong pointer here. So that's actually no surprise why that one crashed, but okay, good. So that part didn't crash, that's good. So now we've got a frame buffer just allocated in the background. It's empty right now, it's not being used to do anything. So what we want to do is go into vtgl.c and split lines. Let's make split lines right to the frame buffer, and then we'll have a different call that's dump frame buffer to screen. So push cell is going to get changed to just write a value into the terminal, into the cell that's currently visible, the current cursor cell, sorry. Yeah, so let me think here. Honestly, all of this code could get moved into terminal.c then if it's not going to be calling these graphics specific things. Yeah, let's do that. Let's move this all into terminal.c here. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so where is this gonna go? Probably just down here is fine. This is not gonna get called anymore. Okay, so let's see here. Push tab, all this stuff is fine. It's just here. So cursor move to, oh no, sorry, not cursor move to. Sorry, push cell. So push cell is gonna get changed. We're gonna do yeah, I'm just gonna comment this because I need this code after, but we're just gonna comment this part out. And we're gonna do so in the default case, we're gonna take just make a fill cell call. I don't really want to make a fill cell. It doesn't make sense right now. We'll see about this after. So we're gonna go to T to Framebuffer. Rows. We're gonna access T to cursor dot row. Yeah, we're gonna access the row, and then is this even? No, this isn't needed, and neither is this. So at rows this, and then at T to cursor. Let's just do this. So cell pointers C is equal to T to cursor dot column. Okay, so that's the cell, and then C to foreground. What's in the cell? I already forgot. Right. Okay, so C to code point equals code point. C to style dot foreground, and wait, this is just a whole cell style. And the cursor just has a cell style on it, so we can just do this. T to cursor dot style. Let's do this. Okay, so that would work. Presumably this is just gonna fill the I kind of want to just run this in the debugger and see if this is just going to work properly before we do anything else. So, okay, so it built and this isn't getting drawn anymore. So that actually means that probably it's fine, but let's launch this in the debugger and just have a look. And we're going to go into Files, Terminal. Here, we're going to just put a little bit of a breakpoint, and we're going to continue until we hit the breakpoint. We hit the breakpoint. I'm just going to resize this a little bit for now. And then we're going to do locals. So C right now is null. That's fine. And we're going to go next. So we got a cell. Presumably that's in our line buffer. And we're just storing some values. So if we go to our key to Framebuffer.cells, that's the first cell that we just pushed. Then the next cell has something in it. Exactly, good. And then you could also do this based on the row index. So if we do t2 Framebuffer.rows 0, it's going to be the same thing. So it's exactly this first cell. So far this looks like it's just working fine. So let's hook up the, let's kill this window. And we'll resize this back to a normal size. Something like that is good. Okay, so now what we'll do is we will hook up this part to the so after we just call blit lines, we're going to call okay. So after we do this, we're going to call a new function, which is render frame buffer. I'm going to take the key. So that's going to use this function. So we're going to put that right here. Oops. I should have saved those rects. That's okay. So in here, what we're going to do is we're going to say, let's move all this over. Close this for now. So what we want to do is we want to do, for now we're just going to do the simplest thing. So we're just going to say for 32i equals 0, I less than t to size dot height, I plus plus. And then for u32j, maybe I should call these r, c, for c equals 0, c less than t to size dot width, C++. we're gonna have here, so we're gonna need the cell size, so we're gonna do vec2 cell size equals get cell size t, and it's called v2, and then so this is taking a cell rect and a code point. So we're going to need a rect, cell rect, and this cell rect is going to be equal to, let's do it this way. The cell rect is going to start at the, let's just break this up a little bit here. So the cell rect is going to start at position 0 for x, and position, so actually I can just do this. The y is going to be equal to t2 gl dot window size dot h minus 1 cell size dot height, and then the dot size is going to be equal to cell size. That's fine. Let's do that. Okay, and then in here, we're going to do a push cell p c to code point cell rect, not this anymore, it's going to be c to background and c to foreground. That's actually c to style dot foreground, c to style dot background. Okay, and then what we need to do is we need to cr dot position dot x plus equals c cell size dot width, and then out here we need to do position dot x equals 0, and cr2 position dot y minus equals cell size dot height. Array subscript is not an integer. What? Oh. Yeah. Good. Now, where is that hitting the breakpoint? Let's try that again. Where's the actual window? Okay, let's give this breakpoint. Don't need that. And now we're gonna do a little run here, and we're gonna do. Oh, we're hitting this assert. Let's do this for now. How are we hitting that assert? But what's the code point we're just passing in here? 0? I guess? Yeah. So we need to actually... We need to make 0 map to space, to be honest. To make sure Framebuffer is cleared to spaces. Yeah, so we're gonna do... Don't want to like change that in place, so we're gonna do... Let's do this. Oh wait, no, clamp is gonna reassign it. I don't want to do that. We're gonna do this. Okay. Oops. That is a different breakpoint, I'm pretty sure. No, that was the same breakpoint. What happened here? I don't need that. Let's go here. Row 3, column 7. Where did that code point come from? I think it's still the same issue. Clamp does in-place clamping, so... what's it called? I'm gonna do this for now. And then we'll probably get some garbage output, that's okay. If we don't keep crashing, that is. Okay, why? But I thought mmap like guaranteed the memory was like uninitialized. Did I like screw up the math or something? I mean, I thought mmap like guaranteed it was zeroed. Wait, this is just invalid memory because if it's like just changing like this every time. So this is one fun thing about doing the terminal emulators. If you just screw up your math somehow, and somehow you manage to get this to work, based on invalid memory, you can get some beautiful garbage like this. I'm gonna take a quick break, get a coffee, use the bathroom. How can I just? Yeah, so I don't know why this is like all screwed up like this, unless I'm allocating the wrong size. Um, oh no, you know what? I think it's because this window isn't getting resized properly. I don't know why this isn't even crashing, to be honest. This should have crashed. Oops. Oh wait, that didn't crash when I resized it though. Okay, I'm not sure. Let's just do a little. Nah. We'll just leave that glorious uninitialized. Make sure this is visible somewhere here. We'll leave this glorious uninitialized memory up while I take a break. All right, be back. Okay, so let us close that. Let us just look at what is going on here. So uh, yeah, oops. Let's put a breakpoint here. Oops, I did not mean to do that. I need this to be like running first. Okay, now I can put my breakpoint here. Okay, so let's have a look. So 51 by 38. That seems like reasonable. What am I doing here? We're going to. Yeah, that looks correct. And then. The cell size in pixels. That's fine. Okay, so then the term to frame buffer. Do this. Too much stuff open over here. So, okay, so we have allocated 1938 cells. So how many? So let's say, so right now we're saying it is 51 by 38, which is 1938. So that part's correct. We've just allocated 49K. So, wait, is that a multiple of the page size? What? Yeah, I guess it is. It's 12 pages. Okay. Um, so if we have 1938 cells times 16, that's only 31K of memory, so that's smaller than this. And then that's fine then. So like this should have all been zeroed. It wasn't. Well, I do have the mem clear call, so I might just do the mem clear and clear it all. Just to ensure that it's actually zeroed. Let me just like check. Does this actually like still crash? Yeah, well, like where is it crashing? Because as soon as I load it up in the debugger, it doesn't crash. I don't know what happened there with my internet. I don't think you missed too much. So I'm trying to figure out now, like why this doesn't crash in the debugger, but it crashes outside the debugger. I guess there is like one way to just try this, which is to use the use the Clang static analyzer. So don't remember actually how to just open this, what the flags are. I think I've got it somewhere here. Okay, yeah. So let's do this. I need this to actually show what's going on here. Okay, so um Seems to be in the graphics driver. Oops. Let's have a look at that section of code. There's nothing here that should be causing that because all of these are stack allocated. What about leaking memory? I'm gonna figure out. I think this is just because this isn't 0. As long as we're like not crashing. Okay. We're not properly clearing the wait. Yeah, we need to like clear this memory before. I don't see why what just happened is working, but yeah, shut up about leaking memory. There's nothing leaked. Also, all that's in like free type. That's not even my code. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That one's more interesting to me. What? Hold on, what happened there? What? Like I don't even understand what crashed here. I'm very confused about why that's crashing. I might look at that after. I'm gonna just properly clear out this whole cell region, assuming this starts properly and resizes properly. Okay. So let's start by actually clearing this, and we have to actually clear this frame buffer as well. I thought I was doing that, but apparently not. Or did I just like screw up when I was reallocating this frame buffer size? That's possible. So we generate one frame buffer. We assign a unit to it. We get this window size. That should all be fine. Term to size is already a UB2. Why am I just doing this? Wait, let me just think here. No, it doesn't make sense. So I mean that just looks fine. So I don't know where that's coming from. Let's just do the clearing. So let's do when we resize, what we should do here is we should do a let's move this into the resize call. And then also I mean that note's not useful. This could just take a UV2 to be honest as well. I don't know why I'm doing that. It doesn't matter. What I really should be doing is doing the child one. Okay. But why is this like even a separate? I just resize a separate call from that, to be honest. I don't even know why this is a separate call. Let's get rid of this separate call. It doesn't make any sense to me. Because you're not going to do this. The only time you're going to do this is if the... Oh, actually you're not. You could do this when the frame buffer doesn't resize. But this set term size... No, this part only happens when the frame buffer resizes. Same with all of this. This doesn't have to happen when the frame buffer resizes. This could just happen from changing the cell, from changing the font size. Same with this, actually. So these two can happen. This stuff should all be in the... Stuff should all be in the other part. Yeah. So... Okay, so that's fine. Okay, so... Okay, so that's working. Now, clearing the window. So how are we going to do that? I can delete these comments. When we resize the frame buffer, we want to, I mean, I could just mem set it to 0 as a start. Let's just try that for now. It's going to take a pointer. It's going to take a, and cast this. And it's going to take a character to clear it to, we're just going to do 0. And we're going to do, this is not from, this doesn't make any sense. This has to be something else that's causing this. This has to be in the actual terminal.c. So that's not useful. Split lines, we're going to reset this for now. We're going to take as many lines as there are rows. This doesn't make sense. Why is this -1 here? Okay, so it's going to be in this case, right? You know, we never clear this whole buffer. So even though this doesn't really make a lot of sense as to why this is showing up here, we still need to like properly clear this buffer. So what we should do here is this is like not the best place for this, but Yeah, let's just do this. So that helps to explain something that's going on here. So, yeah, so basically what we see here is that this whole thing should have been cleared. But it's not. Let's do a bit of a spammy thing for a second here. Yeah. Let's just do this for now. Um, Can we check that though? So that was like fine. Oh, you know what? I think the line indices are screwed up. I think the line indices are just wrong. I think that's what the problem is here. Yeah, the line indices are definitely wrong. So I can show that. Um, Wait, that part's right. So I think it's just something else I'm doing wrong. What does that mean? AMD GPU, the CS has been rejected. Oh, what does that even mean? Exactly. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. I do feel like the rose thing is just wrong, though. I think that part is not correct. Yeah, I think this is probably wrong. Let me go to. Where is it here? So down here, this. Let me just think here. Yeah, this is just not right. What we want to do is do. So like right now, what this is doing is it's like skipping over the wrong parts of the memory. Like we need to this shouldn't be like skipping over the wrong parts though. Oh, yeah, it is. This is already a cells pointer. We don't need to multiply again by the number of the size of cells. Pointer arithmetic issue. This clearing still doesn't work properly, but that's okay. We can fix that. Um, see if I can figure out if I can get this to crash to see what's going on. And actually, let's get rid of this clearing. It's not clearly not correct. See if this gives me some insight here. Okay, that probably will be able how I can get the crash to just occur, and we can see what's going on there. Okay, so here we are dereferencing a null. Yes. Okay. "38 rows, 30, 40 cells. Right now, the cursor is where?" We're at row 38, column 0. What's the line length at right now? Not this one. So there's still more. Definitely this row is not, it's one too high. That's an error somewhere else, I think. I think this should just be null because it's not a. It should be 37. Obviously, would be the last row that's available. Be right back. Yeah, I think I know. I think it's this new line part that I'm not doing properly, and the new line can just make it go over. We can test that by doing. Break terminal.c line 429 if p to cursor dot row equals 37. Yeah, be fine. Oops. Okay, so here we have now broken at this point because the cursor is 37 and if we just continue stepping, so we're gonna turn the cursor to 38, then we're gonna return. That's actually fine. Oh no, it's not. So we're gonna grab another line. Now the cursor is already at 37. Is already at 38 rather. And we're gonna get some code point. It doesn't really matter. It's gonna give us an escape code point, which is a bit annoying. I'm just gonna skip over that. So 118 is not an escape, it's a V. So then we're gonna go here and we're gonna try to place this, but we're already past the point. So we have to do this properly. And at some point I should go through and actually properly like push spaces and stuff when we're supposed to be clearing. So maybe I should just start doing that immediately. So that we need to introduce a concept of a clear region. So right, so how are we doing this right now? We're not doing clear anything, right? We were just assuming that the yeah, we were just doing this and then assuming this would all just work, but we're gonna change this. We're gonna change this now to do a, it's like push empty cell rect is probably not needed anymore. We're gonna introduce clear region. Clear FB region. And then clear FB region is going to need a couple things. So it's going to need to know, I think it's mostly it just needs to know the frame buffer. Potentially it just needs to know the frame buffer, but it needs to know the number of rows and the number of columns in the terminal. So it will take the terminal. And then it's going to take a UV2 bottom left. Let's just do it this way. U32 row 1, U32 row 2. So it's going to clear between row 1 and row 2, and then between row, the same thing as like that other function, between column 1 and column 2. We're just going to do like a swap here. So if we're going to need some extra variables here. So we're going to do if row 1, U32 temp, if row 1 is greater than row 2, row temp equals row 1, row 1 equals row 2, row 2 equals temp. Whatever. Leave it on separate lines. We're gonna do the same thing for the column. And then we're gonna do we need to clamp some stuff here. So we need to clamp C1 between 0 and t to size dot w minus 1. T2, row 1, row 2, and these need to be the height. And we're going to do 4. Not this. For this is equal to R1 less than R2, less than or equal to R2, because we've already clamped it. R++. And then for C1, C less than equal to C2, C++. And then we're going to go ahead and do term to framebuffer.rows R C style equals p to cursor dot state dot code point is going to equal space. So we're going to have this, and then we're going to adjust some other functions to call this instead. So instead of push empty cell rect, which feel like, well, also this is another thing I can do. So get rid of this. Don't need that anymore. So we're going to call this properly. We're going to do isn't this just straight up? Oops. Pretty sure the declaration is just exactly the same, so. This looks good to me. And then up here, we're going to actually do what we're supposed to do, which is clear FB region T. Just copy this again. This is missing a space, I'm just noticing. Let me just remember, so like this should be the row to right. So like technically this should be from, this is like really weird, but it should be until the end of the line, I'm pretty sure. And then it should also be below. And if c to row is less than t to size dot height minus 1. If we're not already on the bottom row, then we'll do this. C to row plus 1. 0 to the width. For above, we do the same thing but in reverse. Oops. So if the row is greater than one, we are going to do 0 to c to row minus 1, so behind it. And then we're going to do 0 to size dot width, that's correct. And then we're going to do this. From the row, so 0 to the column, the cursor column on the current row. Oops. Race all is just going to be 0 to t to size dot h and 0 to t to size dot width. Oops. Many buttons. Okay, so that's now done. We're ignoring case 3. Don't need that anymore. Okay, so that's all good. Now we can do the new line thing. In push line. Okay, so in push tab, we need to actually clear stuff too. So we should be doing clear region, clear Framebuffer region from T, and then cursor row on this line only. And then it's going to be from the cursor column to T to cursor column plus advance. Okay, so that's good. That's looking better. And then we're gonna do a new thing. We're gonna have, so it's push tab. Push new line is, sure, we'll just call it push new line, that's fine. Push new line. This is going to try to do what we're doing here. So it's going to do term to cursor dot row plus plus if t to cursor dot row is greater than t2 size.h. Just make sure this fixes the bug first. So let's leave it to do here. So scroll the cursor, scroll the terminal. Okay. So clearing the screen now works properly. And it clears the full thing, and you can see that there's we can't fit like a whole cell, so there's like a border. Ideally, what we want to do is just probably center the actual terminal inside this, so this border goes equally around. I don't think that's actually that hard to do. So that's in resize. When we do, not in resize, sorry, in Framebuffer thing here, when we set the viewport. So instead of doing this, we're going to say let's set this in resize actually. So we're going to figure out this is going to be equal to the data size.width times cell size.x over 2. So if people aren't seeing what's happening here, this division here is fine, but then we truncate it to an integer. So there's a little bit of like extra. So if you go back ahead later and multiply this by the cell size, you're not actually going to get this ws.h anymore. You're going to get the closest whole number value to that. If we do that, we can just figure out how we call this correct things. And actually, this is supposed to be the window size. If we do that, we can find out the difference, the remaining space, and then we can divide that by 2 so that this gets centered. This is the window size. And then what we need to do is actually resize this. What happened there? Why is that like slightly off? There's some other like weird fudge factor going on here. Probably what I should do is, yeah, I do see what the problem is. So probably I shouldn't do this here. I should, should set this window size based on the amount of padding that's just going to be left over. Yeah. Um, so, oops, what am I pressing here? So what I want to do here is get rid of all of this. In here, we're actually going to do this calculation. So yeah, we're going to include this padding here. So, okay. So what we want to do is actually go ahead and get this first, and then we need to actually, we already have that. So we're going to do T2. Let's do this first. We'll do this one first. Then we will set this equal to T2 size dot whatever times cell size, oops, times cell size dot width. Yeah. Yeah. And then this padding here is going to be let's do this differently. Oops, okay, we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna say this is equal to window size. And then here we're gonna do not this part anymore. It's gonna be that. That should do the trick. Besides the fact that, what is going on there? Why is that like not cleared properly? Hold on. Why is that padding not centered properly? That's weird. Okay. Well, I'm not actually sure why that padding's not centered properly, but for now, we'll say that's fine. And we will just ignore that. Okay. So, how are we doing here? Why is this? So why is license getting put overwritten here? That makes sense. We still need to like clear this whole thing though at some point. Just do a clear screen here. Probably this is still to do performance, but we'll see. Oops. So that will clear that for us. Okay, so now what can we do? Also, it looks like some of this is looking a little weird. Like that C is looking weird for some reason. Let's fix Let's fix the oh. So I just write that function and I don't use it. Good. Okay, let's adjust this so that it actually does what it's supposed to do, which is scrolls the screen basically. So scrolls the turn when we do that new line, which we can do by this is like a little annoying. So what we need to do is write a new function here called put right here. So we're gonna do t I'm kind of gonna pregame a little bit here. So I haven't handled it yet, but you can actually define there's some escape codes that define like which region of the screen should scroll, and N curses, for instance, makes use of that all the time. So I'm going to pregame this a little bit and say that the top row and then the number of rows that you want to scroll. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a clamp. N needs to be clamped to be between 0 and e to size dot height minus the top plus 1. So let's just think about this here. This looks right. So 38, and then we want to say like we want to scroll from yeah. So okay, so let's say we want to scroll the whole thing. So let's say this is like 38. Then we make the top oh no, we'd make the top like 0. I don't think we need like the plus 1. Maybe the plus 1. Like depends on how we want to define the rest of this, to be honest. Let's just comment this clamp for now. Just assume that what we're passing is valid, and I'll fix that after. So we're gonna do. We have to clear the region that we're going to. So when we scroll up, like so the cursor is like down here, and we need to scroll up by one line. We want to take this line. And we don't want to like free it or anything. We want to move this top line down to where the cursor is going to go, and then we're going to clear that whole line. So you could do this in either order, but let's just say for now that we're going to clear from the top row to the top row plus n minus 1. So if we're scrolling one line, we only want to clear one line. We don't want to clear top plus 1. So we want to do this. And then we're going to clear from 0 to the size dot width. Then we're going to say, I equals the top row. I is less than e to size dot h minus n. So n is 1. Let's do if n is 1, so this should be, let's just group this properly so it's more visible what's going on here. So if n is 1, is this right? We are scrolling one row, let's say. So if we're doing strictly less than, it can be this. We don't need that -1. So if we're scrolling one row, we want to leave that row. Yeah, if we're scrolling one row, we want to leave we leave the one row in place. Yeah, this makes, sorry, this should be fine. It's easier to just visualize what's happening, which we're set up to do. And then we're gonna do this row temp is gonna equal term to framebuffer.rows I, and then I is going to be equal to term to framebuffer rows I plus n. So if n is 1, we want to basically, so this starts out at the top, and then if n is 1, we want to move the next row up by 1. If n is bigger, we want to move a few rows down up by that amount. Oops. We're going to do that, and then we're going to do term to fb.rows I plus n is just equal to 10. And that's all we have to do for that. So here what we'll do is we'll do, might be like other cases where this is called and we'll have to move this function at that point, but we'll do t2, we'll do the term fb scroll up t. The top thing is going to be row 0 for now. And we want to do 1, as I was just saying in my analysis there. So if we do this, and we figure out where I made a DOM, oh, oops, yeah, right here. Okay, cool. So it does not look like it is quite working yet. Step column. So here actually we need to do the scroll as well, I believe. Let me think here. yeah, so here, where we just clamped this to the bottom, we need to also do a scroll. So we're gonna move this. Grab this. And I don't know if there's like a good place to just shove this. Let's shove it here, I guess. The top again is just going to be 0, and we're going to do 1. I'm going to rename that so it's matches. Let's rename this one actually. So instead of that, we're going to do this. Just going to select everything. We're going to do anything that's clear FB. We are going to change that to FB clear. Okay, so let's see. Where is the cursor? Let's see here. Let's actually clear this. And let's do that. Just want to see what happens when we go off the end here. Okay, so we're on the end, and then we're going to do one more enter, which should scroll this. It doesn't. It did not scroll it, so that means what? That means what? Or it did scroll it and it didn't clear it. Well, this should be fine. Let me see here. So first of all, this should be like greater than or equal to. This should be getting clamped to -1. There we go. So now if we do this, you'll notice that this thing is always at the bottom where it should be. So if we do like a cat, we end up at the end of the file and everything is working fine and dandy like how it should. Now we can actually try this. So resizing should work. This might lag a bunch of stuff though because I'm not doing this efficiently right now. Why, see this, there's enough room for a cell here. I don't know why that's happening, but also I'm noticing that there's like some stretching going on. So there's still like a little bit of a bug going on there. It looks kind of funny that there's like stretching. So that's gonna be in like the post-processing part, I'm assuming. We can open up RenderDoc and have a look. Yeah, shut up. I'm gonna attach to this one. I'm gonna do an LS, and we're gonna do a capture. We're gonna close that and look at the capture. This is the current back buffer, but we want to look at the texture itself. This texture. We're gonna need to fix that. There's like way too many calls just going on here. Just look, there's 18,000. We're doing 18,000 calls right now to GL. We're gonna want to reduce that a little bit. But let's see here. So we've got our texture. If we look at the texture. So this texture could actually be made the exact correct size in cells without this border. And then the rectangle we're just drawing would include the padding. Let's try to just do this when it's like stretched and see if... No, I think that is actually... Wait. So let me see here. Let me just think about this a little bit more. Oh yeah, no, it is different. See, like the actual back buffer has like extra padding that this one actually is correct. This one is like centered properly. It's this part that's wrong. We're like drawing this rectangle incorrectly. So that's actually easier to fix. So we can go to the old this one. This is like the FPS overlay, right? This shouldn't be in the texture. Or sorry, it should be in the texture, but okay, so anyways. This should be the viewport size that we just used, not this. So what is like the... Or should be like the actual window size. I think it should just be the actual window size in pixels. Actually, we probably want to store the actual window size in pixels then. Not including the padding. Wait. So let me just see here. We're doing something weird here. So this, yes. This texture should be the width and height. Because this is that would match this. This window size, I think this window size should be this. Okay, still doing the weird stretching that it shouldn't be doing. You can just get rid of this padding for now, and I can fix that after. Yeah, let's do that. The viewport is just going to be 0. 0 with height. And then if we do this, it shouldn't stretch. So, yeah, we'll do that. We'll go with that for now. So now this just works how it should be working. Cool. Does less work now? No. Okay, so we can actually fix that quickly. So now this, like, scrolling works, right? Scrolling down, but scrolling up won't work. The top row doesn't get cleared properly, and then when we get to here, it starts doing something weird. Let's fix that. Here, we're supposed to do this. So, if t to cursor dot row, this is the other way though. This is scroll down, not scroll up. Do I want to do that right now? I don't want to take a break. I'm gonna go to the washroom and then we're gonna do that. And then after we do that, I'm gonna pause and take a break for a bit. Okay, so term scroll up. Let me do that. So term scroll down. Was it FB scroll down? Scroll up. For this, we need the opposite now. FB scroll down. Now FB scroll down is going to be a little different here. FB scroll down is going to still take a top and an n and a term, and then it's going to be the opposite. It's going to do a clear region from e to size dot height minus 1 minus n. Yeah. And then it's going to be oh no, if n's 1, no, we don't need this minus 1. But if n is just 1, that's fine. I think that's fine. And then it's going to go to the bottom. Maybe it is n minus n plus 1. I think it is n plus 1 here, but we'll see in a second here. Term to size dot h. And then for the column, it's still just going to be 0 to the 0 to the width. And then for this part, we're going to go from the bottom of the term, so t to size dot h minus 1 to while I is greater than equal to top plus n. We're going to subtract I. So if top is 0 and we want to scroll one line, so while I is greater than or equal to 1, we're going to do this, and then this is going to be the same thing, except now we're just going to flip this to minus n. Close this, clear. Less til.c. So scrolling down works. Scrolling up, broken still. Scrolling down, good. Scrolling up, bad. Right, because we're not calling scroll down anywhere. Duh. Good. So in handle escape, so in here, we're going to say if t to cursor dot row equals 0, term scroll, that's what it's called, FB scroll up, scroll down, T0, 1, let's check something here. Else, we're going to do cursor, go to this, cursor move, is that what I called it here? Yeah. So we're going to move to, cursor move to T, T to cursor row minus 1. T to cursor column. And then we're going to break. Okay, let's I think that actually just straight up fixed it immediately because I'm redoing this every frame, but we'll just do this properly to make sure. So if we do this and then we scroll up, there you go. Now why is this, oh, what happened there? Oh no, there's just like some, why is there like some extra, what's happening there? Also, why is this, I thought I already colored this to the reverse color. What happened there? Uh, what's happening in the middle of the window? Let's just bring this over here so it's a bit more clear. What's going on here? We're going to do a less fill.c. It's like, I see. That means our scroll up is just wrong. I mean, scroll down. Or one of them. I think they're both being used, right? So, I mean, this looks fine though. It's just here. Something wrong there. Um, wait, it shouldn't, I'm pretty sure it should be, yeah, so there's still like something weird going on. Is that the scrolling down part that's actually broken? Let me think here. So, I think we're clearing too much. I think that's what's happening here. let's see here. So if n is 1 in this case, and the top is 0, so we do from row 0, 0, we clear the 1 row. So this part's fine. What about here? So if top is 0 and n is 1, we want to clear the bottom row. So we want to do theta size -1 minus n minus 1. Again, 2 size dot h minus 1. Is there another time we were supposed to be scrolling down that I'm not doing? I don't think so. Wait, let me see this. So actually this is growing when I'm pressing down. So I think we're scrolling down one too many times. Try this thing I was doing before. Um, wait. Something weird is still going on, yeah. So there's like some lines that are getting cleared that are not supposed to get cleared when I'm doing that. It's not related to this weird thing. This is for like a different bug, which we'll do later. I don't want to solve that bug right now because I'm not, that's not what we're looking at. Okay, so I wonder if it's like this thing is broken. Well, first of all, I do need to, in this case, we need to tell the thing that the cursor moved. This is not the problem, I don't think. Oops. Let me reopen this. So, if we do ls, yeah, so you can still get it to do that. Am I like even handling that case here properly right now? We are just causing like to split the line. That's fine though. I'm also curious why this isn't inverse anymore. Oh, yeah, this is supposed to be getting it off of the. First of all, yeah, this is wrong. We just need to pass in the cell style. I'd like to do this after we swap the colors as well. Okay, so that part's fixed. That was stupid. You're gonna fix that. So wait, that means that, so when it is, it's clearing one too many lines. Somewhere here, we're clearing too many lines. I want to see if we're getting here. Um, so okay, let's just look at this here. So, okay. So if we're erasing below, we're going to erase until the end of the line. Then we're going to erase, so if the row is not at the bottom, we're going to clear from +1 to the size.h, 0, and the width. So this part is fine. This part, so if the row is not at, I feel like it should be like this. I'm managing to get it into that state. At least now it's not like, if we do this, yeah, at some point it starts doing that. I feel like weird. Oops, that's empty. Okay, let me see. I just have to pause and look this up after. Look it up or take a break and then look it up after. My brain isn't working. So let's just do that. So that part's just working good. Pretty happy with this. I'd like to make it a little bit smoother. But for now, that's fine. So this is like a crashed thing. What's going on here? Okay, so let us do that. I just want to see if this works. I think it's broken. I should figure out why, because I'd like to be able to do this. Okay, so that's actually not completely broken. But those scan lines don't quite look how they're supposed to anymore. So that's okay. We can fix that after. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. So let's take a break for now. We are getting somewhere, that's right. We're getting pretty close. Well, pretty close. There's like so many things you have to do with the terminal, so we're getting somewhere, I guess. So let's take a pause for now, and I will come back later. So thanks everyone for watching, and I will be back probably in an hour or two to do more work. So, ciao.